As you've realized, it's been relatively unseasonably dry over the past several months. In fact, since November, the start of the month, Minot, we've picked up, as far as liquid equivalent, just over 2 inches, 2.26 inches to be more precise, of liquid precipitation. The departure from normal is 81 hundredths of an inch. So we haven't even had half of what we should have for this time of year from November into early March. And it's not just Minot, but notice all of western and central North Dakota drier than normal when it comes down to starting from November and continuing through March 8th. And on top of that, we'll have to be concerned about drought conditions developing across north central North Dakota. Already moderate drought conditions for our parts of the Turtle Mountains. That is likely going to persist because we just don't have enough precipitation that has fallen. And that's not only going to persist across north central North Dakota, but across the Northwest and into Montana as well. Looking for the next 6 to 10 days, little, if any, mentions of moisture whatsoever across the state, but temperatures still going to be rising well above normal, 10 to 15 degrees gradually. But we've got another cooler day in store for your Saturday because, well, we still have that snowpack on the ground. That deep snowpack is going to allow much of that radiation to bounce back up into the air and preventing our temperatures from rising that much. But we will likely have 40s in Minot from Sunday and beyond. We're at 26 degrees right now. Gorgeous blue sunny sky. West wind at 9-14 for Bottineau, 19 in Stanley. Rugby, you're at 18 degrees, sunny all around, even 30 in Garrison. So that's a sign of things to come as we go into at least the second half of your weekend. West wind continues light for now. Saturday is going to be the cooler day of the weekend with 20s and a few low 30s, but you'll notice on Sunday we have a better chance of 40s coming in. But still remember, we're going to have that snowpack on the ground, so it may eventually even get a couple of degrees cooler. But the warming trend is going to continue, especially Sunday, where we have more of a westerly breeze across north central North Dakota. So it's looking at the weekend, not too bad. Clear for the time being, but we could see some areas of fog develop as the temperatures tend to rise overnight. So don't be surprised if you see some fog, patchy at that, not expecting anything too bad when it comes down to the fog. But 30s are going to be across the north. As far as the south, that's where the 40s are going to be. And just a reminder, spring forward, yes, daylight saving time begins Sunday morning. Yes, we lose a bit yes, we lose an hour of our sunrise. In fact, is going to be an hour later, but our sunset as well is going to be an hour later, and that is going to result in some pretty decent days and longer daylight hours. I have your 7-day forecast after this.
All right, thank you so much, Henry.